Hi, I'm Chip Burnham with Fairmont Concepts, and I'm going to show you how to graph the market opportunity map. The entire process of conducting the voice of the customer research and creating the primary needs table and the market opportunity map is covered in our webinar. The link for the VOC webinar can be found at the top of this screen. When you have completed the VOC research, you end up with these two tables. The primary needs table has a series of primary needs grouped into families, and then the market opportunity map, which is what we're going to create today. Pause the video here if you'd like to read about the four quadrants. Here is an example from ABC Custom Truck Works, a fictitious company that we used in the webinar and also as an example in our book. ABC Custom Truck Works primary needs were prioritized by the marketplace in the following way. An email survey is sent out to as many customers within your target market as possible, and you ask two questions. On a rating of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most important, how important are each of the needs to you? Similarly, on a rating of 1 to 10, with 10 being highest performance, how is the performance of the current product that you're using as it relates to each need? The following webinar excerpt shows you how to take the 1 to 10 ratings from the customer base and turn it into the market opportunity map. Okay, now let's go through an example of how to normalize the data. Here we have our two questions: how important is this need to you, and how is your current performance? And there are 15 specific answers. So let's zoom in and take a look at the first set of data. Okay, so here are 15 customers here. You would normally have 50 to make sure that you have statistically relevant data. But here we're just going to use an example of 15 so you can see it all on one page. And we have our sum, our number of entries, and our average. We end up with a min and a max and a midpoint for the average for each of the question or each of the needs that were identified as primary needs. If I scroll down, the second question is, how is your performance? And here you can see that it has the same needs, of course, the same customers. And here some of the customers didn't answer a couple of the needs. They didn't rate them. So we make sure that our average takes that into account, and we get our min, our max, and our midpoint. Now on the next sheet, we have the summary of the two average data, and then item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So let me explain this to you now. Okay, so here's the data that's the average of the first question. How does the product you're currently using perform? And how important is this need to you? I think these are flipped upside down. It doesn't really matter. I flipped them upside down to make sure that it was going to graph the way that I wanted it to graph. So then using a typical chart function, we are creating an XY scatter graph. The graph is going to come out for this particular set of data looking like this, but it's not yet normalized. To normalize it, what we want to do is we want to follow these instructions here. And that is, we're going to put the minimum of the averages there, the maximum there, and then for this axis, the minimum there and the maximum there. We're going to normalize it. And we use that in the graphic function to format the axis. You double click on that axis, or right click on the axis, I should say. And then, then you select format axis, and you enter in the min and the max from the data above. That's going to make this, this particular axis will come right down through that node, and the same thing over here. We'll do that for the X and the Y axis. And then you get your data normalized, and you see how this is the min, this one's the max, this one's the max, and this one is the min. Now, if we replace the numbers here with the actual names, and I basically did this manually, we're then able to see clearly where each of the needs are. Now, some of these needs are very close to the borderline, like this configurable bed or highly maneuverable. That's pretty close for ABC Custom Truck Works for that need to be in the other quadrant, but that's okay. You're basically setting up a general return on investment priority set here, And some of the needs are going to be right on the borderline of being in one quadrant or the next. And then if we scroll down, or scroll over, we end up with our general market opportunity map, having full service plans, full coverage service plans, integrated braking, etc. And that's how you normalize the data. Okay, so now if you need to see the entire process of how to generate powerful, unbiased voice of the customer research results, see the link at the top of the screen. I'm Chip Burnham with Fairmont Concepts, and we help manufacturers maximize the performance of their commercial engine. Good luck with your VOC research.